Welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two friends in fiber crafting and sharing each other's nerdy adventures across two provinces. I call Winnipeg, Manitoba home. My co-host.
Oh, that was a prompt. Hi, I'm Diana. I don't follow prompts. I live in Waterloo, Ontario.
Here happens, I love it. It's episode 166 and we are still so professional, you guys.
Yeah. I'm out on my balcony again because Mr. Diana decided that half an hour before we started was a good time to rearrange the office, which is where I was going to record because the dishwasher's going and that's loud. So we're outside, where it's probably honestly louder than the dishwasher, but it's so much nicer. And, you know, lighting.
Your lighting is great today. My lighting
Natural light
is what it always is. I don't think my lighting's too bad.
No, your lighting's good.
I am drinking a beer Stein worth of coffee.
I love it.
I wanted to show off that I'm having some hot Vietnamese coffee. It's a lot of coffee, but that's fine. I drink a lot of coffee. At 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon on the 1st of June. Is it June or are we May? What are we? May 31st?
This is the end of May. June is tomorrow.
I'm drinking a lot of really dark roasted strong coffee with some sweetened condensed milk. And when I have enough space, I'll put ice cubes in it later. I don't have beer steins because I don't drink beer. This is actually my niece's clear glass thingy with, I don't know if I got it on the side that has the etching on it or not because I can't see the etching. She has a Gryffindor etching on it. She drinks her hot chocolates out of this. She's 13.
I was wondering why the teenager had a beer stein, but Gryffindor branded for drinking hot chocolate. Yeah, okay.
I know. I pulled it out of the china cabinet. Someone upstairs, and I was like, I don't have any clear glass. I got big ceramic mugs. My sister was like, I got a Deadpool beer mug. And I got a Gryffindor beer mug I can offer you. I'm like, Gryffindor! Apparently my brother-in-law has a Deadpool beer stein. He's old enough to drink beer.
Yes.
I'm also drinking a cold drink, so.
I selected my mug color so that it would complement my sweater.
Oh, jeez.
I have a whole set of mugs like this, and one of them broke in transit, unfortunately. It was slightly damaged to begin with, so it just didn't survive the trip. But I have this cheerful yellow one, a red one that was going to clash horribly with this orange, and a dark blue one that also was not going to go nicely with the orange. So, you know, sunny yellow cup full of strawberry cream tea.
Woohoo! That's exciting.
It's very much a hot tea day here because given the sweater, it is 15 degrees here. It's quite lovely after the 30 degrees all week that we had last week.
She says 15 degrees like it's sweater wearing weather. It's 15 degrees Celsius, which is still short and t-shirt wearing weather for us regular folk.
I get cold easily. I'm really enjoying my fingerless gloves on this sweater right now. Like, I'm so happy. This is exactly the weather I made this sweater for.
It is over 23 degrees outside right now for us, and we're supposed to be up around 30 tomorrow.
Yep, don't envy you that at all.
It's fine. It is what it is. It's summer. That's what happens. My brother-in-law, poor man, has to do the lawn today.
Ooh.
Well, he has a very limited number of days off with his current work schedule. He's trying to fix that. He's trying to train somebody to be an under him sort of person so he can have days off. He's very excited about that idea. Yeah, it's a thing. All right. This is technically a knitting podcast, so I suppose we should talk about the things we're working on.
Probably, yeah.
Background noise brought to you by brother-in-law. He might wear shorts all year round, but he only owns heavy-duty shoes.
Stomp, stomp.
Yeah, all the stomps. I don't know how much that'll pick up.
I don't hear too much of it. But then I'm also outside and I have car noise, so. Also, if I suddenly look off to the side, there's pigeons going back and forth between the buildings, and I'm not sure if I'm about to get inundated by pigeon.
Okay. You're worried of death by pigeon?
No, I'm worried I'm going to take a pigeon to the face.
Well, if you take a pigeon to the face, it's making it into the episode.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be sad if it didn't.
Probably with a soundtrack of me laughing really hard off screen because I'll have doubled over.
Well, I got my phone set up. I've got my phone set up on this counter with drawers, and it's occurred to me that nobody's opened these drawers since we've been here, and I'm not sure if anything's moved into the drawers.
Oh my word.
I mean, nothing's hissing at me or like looking out at me, so I think we're okay.
Gosh.
We're 10 floors up. If it's anything, it's bugs.
Oh man. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, I've got 3 projects. Are you still just working on one?
I am still just working on one, but I have sewing.
I also have sewing, so.
Well, you're just outdoing me again. We're back to the normal balance.
We're past May, and a bulk of my personal life has sort of quieted down for a bit, so I'll take it. I am, while we're podcast recording, because my sock is at a point where I can't work on it while we record, working on the 2.5-inch blanket of doom. So Untitled listeners will know that I'm making a blanket for my auntie. I don't have many aunties. I don't have many uncles. All of my aunts are married in. All of my uncles are by blood. So sometimes the aunts change, but the uncles never do. Go figure. One of my oldest ones, asked if I would crochet her a blanket. And I said, absolutely. She is one of my favorite aunts. You can have favorites if you're an adult, and you can admit you have favorites. It's fine. It doesn't mean I love the other ones less. I just like this one more. So I am working on some 2.5-inch granny squares. And you're thinking, Jocelyn, do you know how many 2.5-inch granny squares that is? Yes, I do. To make a queen size bed. I've done the math. I know exactly how many squares I have to make. Thank you very much. I cannot for the life of me source the other 2 shades of green acrylic yarn. They've been delayed again. So I canceled the orders, and I'm just ordering 3 different shades of blue. So it'll be a 6 shades of blue. So it'll be a shaded spectrum blanket in blue shades with gray for her.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm doing it entirely out of Bernat Premium because it washes and wears great, and it gets this nice halo without being overly fuzzy. Excuse me, I have the burps apparently. And it holds its structural integrity really well. Because once I'm done, the millions of 2.5-inch squares, the easy part happens, which is sewing them together. And that's actually the easy part.
It's the part where it suddenly starts looking like a blanket and not bags of squares.
It's going to be bags of squares and bags of squares and bags of squares, and all of a sudden, magically, it's a blanket that needs a border. Really excited for that part. Really excited for that part. But for right now, we're in the slog that is the bags of squares. So since we've started doing show notes and recording, I've done 3 squares. So there's a project. Oh, that's very unfocused. Focus, camera, focus. Remove my face. So this one is in the Caribbean blue, kind of cobalt blue colorway that Bernat Premium has. I have no idea where the ball band is. I'm not entirely sure what shade of blue that is, but I'm going to go get the other shades of blue. I literally need 2 skeins of Bernat Premium in 3 different blues. And I already have a baby blue, this Caribbean blue, and a royal blue. So I'm going to go pick up 3 more shades of blue.
Sounds like a plan.
And then I'll just be crocheting blue for days. So that's fine. And some gray. So that's okay, whatever. I have 2 other projects, but they're both knitting. Do you want me to keep talking about squares and large projects?
Ooh, hey. If you want to.
I'm making the 2.5-inch squares on a 5mm crochet hook. It's got this squishy rubber bit stuff, which, oh my word.
Makes a difference?
Oh my God. As I become more serious about crocheting as a hobby, we're upgrading those crochet hooks. I'm getting some ergonomic ones. They make such a freaking difference. Such a difference. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense for like the little small ones that I just use for repair for picking up stitches and stuff. Because I use them so rarely. But I think for the ones that I use, dogs are in the backyard. Can you hear the doggy running by the window?
No, I just hear cars on my end. Sorry.
I hear cars, and then I hear the tags from the dog's license all around their collars as they race by the basement window here. So, but no, for like long haul work, that ergonomic handle makes such difference. I think I'm going to start picking up ergonomic handles in the sizes I use the most often.
I'm starting to be sold on this. I was really into the concept of carved wooden crochet hooks with like ergonomically shaped carved handles.
Yeah.
And like I've never been able to justify it because I don't crochet enough and I don't crochet in a single size enough. But if I ever get to that point, heck yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm finding I'm really enjoying the blanket construction, and I use that 5 mm. You guys are gonna be sick of me talking about my 5 mm or 5.5 mm sized crochet hook. Like everything I do is at a 5 mm size hook. So I feel like getting one at a 5 mm size makes sense, or like a 6 makes sense, or 6.5. Like slowly build up a small collection of the ergonomic ones for just the ones I use the most. Just the ones I use the most, not for all of the sizes, because they're not cheap. But they do, like even the difference between the plain metal one and then the one with the rubber handle has made a huge amount of difference on the wear that I'm putting on my wrist and my fingers, ergonomically speaking. So I'm like, cool, that makes that decision for me. Gotta be done. All right. In the realm of knitting and very large blanket projects, because what we want to hear is Jocelyn talk about the same 4 projects forever.
And that's different than Diana talking about the same one project forever.
You're all excited I'm making blankets this year, right? I hope so, because we're in it forever. I did more mitered squares this week. I didn't do more than 10 like I did last week. I think I only did like 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I did 6. I was wrong, off by 1. These are entirely free floating mitered squares. Let me pick a light colored one to show you this because it's easier for you to see the stitch definition on it. It is a scrap acrylic blanket, and I am literally just making the mitered squares right now. I'm going to have to sew on the ends, and then I'm going to do a decorative top stitch and sew the squares together in the end. I'm doing this because once I'm through all of my acrylic scraps, if I need some more squares to balance the colors out, I'm just going to go buy a ball of yarn and an acrylic color to balance it out and make a bunch and spread it through. So I didn't want to connect as I went in case I didn't have enough. Because then you end up with like one big color splotch at the end, and that really doesn't look good. So I wanted an even distribution of wild, wacky colors. So I'm using my greens, my blues, and my purples to make ones for my niece and my sister for Christmas. Here's one of those fancy ones that changes halfway through, where it's a darker color, then it's a lighter color. Technically, it's a lighter color than a darker color, because of how I do things. So this is really easy. It's just the mitered square pattern. I have 37 squares now. And I need 63 to be halfway done.
And you have 31, you said?
I have 37 right now.
37, okay.
Yeah, so I should be easily halfway done by June.
Just motoring along. You're really making me want to start one of these mitered square blankets.
It's really enjoyable while I'm like watching TV or I'm sitting and I'm on hold on the phone or I'm chatting with people. I just kind of work on a square. It's really nice. Because when you get mad at whatever the television's doing, and I get mad and yell at the TV all the time, you can huff it, throw it down in a huff, and it's fine. They don't care. Oh, my computer went off.
Ding.
Ding, background noise. I haven't figured out how to turn it off on this computer yet. I will eventually. I just have one more project to talk about. Would you like to talk about your fantastic thing?
Sure. Let me just finish the stitch and pull a nice big loop through so I can put the hook down. Oh, good. Oh, good. I pulled stitches. Oh, okay. It's okay. It's okay. I may have caught my crochet hook in a part of the project where it was not supposed to be. Everything's fine. I have
You're having wild panic and I'm just dealing with this giant ball of yarn quietly.
I have been, if I hold this in front of my face, I've been not so diligently working on the lighthouse shawl from Not So Cute Designs. Not as in tie a knot, sew as in needle and thread. Out of some yarn from, I have like 30 different dyes running through my head right now. Midnight Cravings. That took a second.
Tisk.
I just had to run through like the entire list of dyers that I can pull off the top of my head, and this one's the boxes. Wow, Midnight Cravings in their Lush base, which is a 4-ply fingering. So the yarn itself is squishy. This color that I'm holding up right now is Sangria, which is a red wine color. It's Sangria colored. Yeah, red wine. and so the stitch is squishy because you're doing it in the back loop every row, so it gets sort of a ribbed effect. And so the yarn is squishy and the stitch is squishy, and it's squishy. Like, it's just, oh, it's gonna feel so good. So I have, I think, about 5 more rows of that color left, and then I will be, I think it sort of does a fade. I haven't really read the pattern. I'm not sure if it's just a hard stripe or if it fades a little bit, but I'll be going into my color 2, which is Canasta, which is a white base with the same red speckle and then some teal speckles, dark blue speckles. I'm gonna go teal.
Okay.
And then the third color will be, just like in the pattern picture, is Smoke and Mirrors, which is a silvery gray color. Just catching the light out here fantastically, I must say.
It is.
Looks
Looks good.
great. So I am still super into this project. Yes. Midnight Cravings. The ball pens are right here. I see them every time I pick up this project. I don't know why that was so hard to recall. Oh. God. Anyway, so this is going to be lovely. I'm so excited about it. It's not even done yet, and I'm putting it on my head.
I know.
Oh, this is my mindless. It's not a knit. It's a crochet. It's my mindless project right now because it's just the same stitch, back and forth, forever and ever. And I'm not pulling it out. Why am I doing these things to myself? I'm distressing myself. Don't mind me. Okay, that's my project.
Crazy lady.
I'm
All right.
supposed to be over here with my tea.
It sounds like a tasty tea.
Makes a fantastic iced tea too. We have a picture of it iced in the fridge.
Nice. My cold beverage is a frozen raspberry lemonade from Tim Hortons.
Nothing wrong with that.
But if you drink it too fast, it's like a really bad slurpy headache.
Uh-huh.
It's frozen. Doesn't stop me. I'm just aware of how I did it to myself. All right, the sleeves on the Shrug Again are giving me grief. So I have to do it the complicated way. I'm not overly impressed with that because I need to make the decreases occur faster and look better. So I've had to rip out the sleeve twice now, and we're going to try sleeve the third attempt later. So right now, it's in timeout because I'm angry with it.
And rightly so.
And rightly so, because it's misbehaving. It's not misbehaving. I'm the one having problems, not the pattern. So instead, I was like, I'm just going to work on my sock this week. So I watched the Fiber Friends Friday Night Knit-In with Louise, and she does a Monday cast on. So like every Monday, she casts on something new. Between talking,
how do you finish anything if you do that?
She has a Friday finishes at the end of the month where she finishes a fair number of things.
I don't understand. I cast on something every Monday, I'd be out of new yarn and I'd just have a mountain full of projects in progress.
Louisa has a whole house full of yarn and knitting needles. So I don't think we're worried about her running out of yarn. But she casts on hats and scarves and little things and stuff like that, right? So I like the idea because I've got some one ball worsted and some scraps, so you guys might see baby knits here shortly because I've got a couple of friends with small humans, so I might do some baby knits this summer just to get rid of my randoms that I can't justify putting into an entire scrap blanket. So I decided I would start working on my second Sally sock. So this is my first Sally sock. It's a full sock. It's out of the Knit Picks Felicia yarn, Sally, with a beautiful gray colored heel in Regia. It's a full sock because eventually, 50 years from now, I will have a box full of Halloween socks and a box full of Christmas socks because I like me them holidays. So I picked up and started working on my second sock. So I cast on Monday, got annoyed with my sleeves on Wednesday, and I've done nothing but knit socks since Wednesday. So I'm at the heel. Foot's done on the second sock. So my heel is sitting here by Regia Yard with some wooden DPNs that I use to make my heels out of, sitting here ready to go. So once we're done recording, I'm going to put my heel in and then see if I can get through a foot, like the leg of my sock next week, and then be done a sock. Done a pair of socks, which will count for Stash Dash.
Nice. Didn't the first sock take you like 3 months?
Yep.
And the second one's going to be like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I've got it finished by Thursday, a week.
Okay.
Cool. So that's what happens when I get angry with a project. I pick something else up and I go. I've been rewatching Enterprise, the Star Trek Enterprise, at Mr. B's suggestion because he was talking about it, and I own the DVDs, guys. So like I've watched them several times. So I'm rewatching right now and enjoying blooper reels like crazy.
I actually started, Mr. Diana and I started watching Enterprise this week as well, actually.
Excellent. It's only 4 seasons. It's not a very long Star Trek. But I really, really enjoy the series and the arcs that they do for it. I also, when you're done, find the bloopers because they're hilarious.
Star Trek bloopers are always great because, you know, a prop fails or the doors didn't open or I love the blooper reels from like before in real life the like proximity doors were a thing. So like OG Star Trek blooper reels where they just missed the cue and they just smacked into the door.
Nothing wrong with a good blooper reel. There's a couple in this case that once you get through the season, you go to the blooper reel, you'll understand why I enjoy watching them so much. There's so much condensation coming off of this Tim Hortons cup that it's literally dripping under my feet.
I've been having that problem. I had to replace the coaster at my computer with just paper towels. There was that much condensation.
I didn't do that, so that's fine. I'm living a coaster-free lifestyle, living life on the edge.
I was only doing it because it's next to my computer and like I don't want condensation running all over my desk on my computer. But like that was a lot of condensation.
I have computer desk below the screen. I have computer desk to my right. I have a TV table tray to my left where my drinks sit on.
Okay.
Because there's a space. Well, I could take over more space over here, but this space under my hand here on my right is for the cat. Should she decide she wants to jump up and join, she has a little blanket there and everything, so that's not my space. She gets mad when I put stuff on there. That's her space. Okay. I have my marching instructions. But that's it for my projects. I'm so mad at the shrug again right now. I don't even want to look at it. So gross.
I'm sorry it's giving you grief.
It'll learn its lesson. Just needs a serious time out and a hard think. That's okay. I've been thinking about ripping out the winter honey, which I've been slowly puttering away with because I feel like it's been so long now that my cable stitching will be different. Like my cable tension will be different.
Okay, so yeah.
I need to start that over again. So for the moment, I think I'm going to rip it out.
Fair. I've done that with a few shawls. Yeah. My early attempts at lace.
Oh yeah. And so that'll be another thing. Then I'll have a full amount of just yarn I can either use to make the winter honey or make something else out of. So until I'm ready to sit down and focus on a cable shawl. 3, 4. I'm done talking knitting. What's next?
What's next? We've got some so little time. We both have some sewing. Or rather, I have some theoretical sewing.
Okay, I have actual sewing.
I have things to sew with.
Would you like to talk about your sewing kit?
Okay. I found my friendly local fabric store, which is, of course, not open for in-person visits right now, but they're doing curbside pickup. And they have an actually fantastic online store, which I have found to be a problem with a lot of like fabric stores, is their online shopping experience is really Not in this century.
Awful. It's awful.
I was just going to go with not in this century. Anyway, but this one is. And so they have mask kits because they're on point with their sales right now. And so you can get a mask kit of random colors, light colors, or dark colors. So I got the dark colors kit. And each kit comes with 4 different fabrics, a square meter altogether, I believe, of 4 different fabrics. So basically 4 fat quarters. And then you get these, you get some elastic, and you get these peel and stick nose strips, which I think I will still encase in a pocket or else just not use them because I'm skeptical that the adhesive will hold up to a hot wash and dry.
Okay.
But I am super in love with 3 out of the 4 fabrics, and I don't even hate the 4th fabric. So we got this fabric, which is red swirls on a black background, I guess. I don't know. I think this one will look cool. And we've got this fun blue one with pretty silvery flowers. I don't know how shiny they actually appear on camera, but they're shiny in real life.
Oh, sneezing.
Bless you.
Ow.
Yeah. This cute floral thing going on. And then this one is super cute and appeals to the child in me. Is cute little cartoon skulls and crossbones, except some of them are like zombie skulls and some of them are pirates, and yeah, it's just cute. I'm excited about this one.
Well, I
one,
saw that one in the photos, and in the photo that you sent, and I was like, well, that's the first one being made.
Oh yeah. And then there's this horse one, which I don't know. I don't think this kind of mustard yellow is really my color, nor are horses really my thing. So this, I think, will get turned into perhaps masks for small humans back in Manitoba.
That works.
Because I feel like they'd be into horses. I might also, Mr. Dino was suggesting I might have to share my skull fabric as well because it's kind of cute, and kids like pirates.
No, that's Diana's fabric.
Maybe. We'll see. But I don't know. Like, it's not bad fabric. It's just not my colors at all.
Yeah. I'm
not a yellow person. But, it's kind of cute.
If there's leftovers after Diana's made her face mask and the skulls, then yeah.
Yeah. So, got all this stuff that needs to get washed, dried, and ironed, and then I can make some masks. I'm so on top of things. I finally got myself some tailor's chalk. Like, I have 3 different colors of tailor's chalk. Like, I am ready. I have everything I need.
All right.
I even found my sewing machine in the closet that Chris is currently reorganizing. Like, I'm just got to wash and dry the fabric, and I'm good to go.
Crazy lady.
I was going to wash and dry the fabric yesterday, and then it was the first properly cool day in over a week, and it was just such a nice. We had a pajama day all day. Like, we didn't get out of bed till 2, and yeah, it was a very lazy day yesterday.
Lazy people.
It was a wonderful lazy day. Today we're being productive.
Okay.
Well, more productive than yesterday.
There we go.
More productive than yesterday.
Hey.
It's really, I mean, what do you want? What do you want?
You're asking the type A personality how productive I want you to be? That is not a good question to pose to me. You know what I consider a lazy day.
Yes, well, I had a real lazy day, so.
Not a proper lazy day, not a farm lazy day. I have farm lazy days. We're going to talk about my sewing, but I have to sort of preface this with, if talking about menstruation cycles creeps you out a little, bypass this part. If it doesn't, because let's be honest, half the population has them, feel free to stay. Feel free to stay. A while ago, I have been talking with Diana on and off that I wanted to move to a more eco-friendly sort of pad situation. But a lot of the things like Diva Cups and a lot of the other sort of things that you can use don't work well for me. Like, I struggle to find them comfortable. I, in fact, find them insanely uncomfortable. I don't even like wearing a tampon. I find that uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
And I've tried, I'm not going to say I've tried every variety on the market, but I've tried a lot of them. A lot. And I will use them when I'm swimming because that's just what you do when you swim. Period. But I wanted to move to a more eco-friendly thing, so I started looking at the sort of wash and reuse menstruation pads that you can get. You can buy them, you can make them. I decided to make mine. And I went through and I watched a bunch of people making them on YouTube. And then I looked around at a bunch of patterns. And then I finally found a pattern that had a teen light flow for it. Because in the realm of too much information, a regular pad is too thick for me. So it's not like I'm dealing with a lot of problems here. Like I don't have a super heavy anything going on. So I'm not worried about a lot of stuff. Though, given that I've looked at the pattern that I did buy, it gets quite thick. Like I don't think it would be a huge problem for people who might have heavier flows to also have these.
All right.
They use layers of like linen cottons in for absorbency, and those absorb fine. Because that's exactly what's in the ones you buy that you dispose of.
I thought they had like fancy sort of chemically treated stuff that could absorb and inflate and whatever in the store-bought ones.
It's
Or are you
cotton.
talking about the handmade store-bought? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
They do have extra stuff in them, but you know what their base component is? Cotton.
Cotton.
Cotton. So what I have now are homemade ones with little snap buttons that go around my underwear, made of cotton, layers of cotton. You can make them with funky, cute little patterns. You can you can do whatever you want because you just use a good quality cotton and you got a couple of layers in there. Depending on how thick you need yours to be, that determines your layer ratio. I do not need mine to be very thick, so I do not have a lot of layers. And the snap buttons go around, and they're all winged, so they all secure on the wings with snap buttons. And the snap buttons are away from you. They're not against you. They're also those little doinky snap buttons. Little doinky snap buttons. But I have made myself a week's worth of those for me, for my flow, for what suits for me. In white, guys. I'm not showing them. They're white. They look like white pads that you would buy from the store. It's just mine are reusable, which means I'm not chucking all of that plastic into the garbage and into landfills anymore. So super game for that. You can clean and sanitize to different levels depending on what you like, because you can use vinegar solutions, you can use other, like I went with white because I have a preference to bleach as my cleaning sanitizing solution mix. That's the one I'm comfortable with. So that's the one I use. So I didn't put any pretty fabrics on mine because I'm bleaching.
They'd be bleached into oblivion.
That would be counterproductive. So I have a week's worth. So I have enough for my flow, for my weeks, for my periods. They've got their own separate storage container now where they can go live when they're dirty. And then when I'm done, I wash them all in a separate wash load. Hot water, nothing fancy. Don't get me wrong, I also have white towels. So they'll get washed and rinsed and then thrown in with the white towels for the bleach cycle because that'll kill everything.
Yep.
I have lessened my environmental impact a lot.
All that stuff is, pardon my Picard maneuver here. All that stuff is biodegradable and it's gonna last quite a few uses before it dies, and just overall way better for the environment and cheaper for you.
Better for the environment, cheaper for me, and let's be honest, I get to be really lazy about it because each one alone only took 30 minutes to make. It takes more time to mend something than it does to make one.
Oof.
It's
that's like, wow, that's zero effort then, pretty much.
None. The hardest part was cutting out the biggie because there's no straight lines, little curvy S lines. That was it. Because then you just sew around.
I'll be curious how they hold up, like in use and over time.
That'll be the next experimental stage, is to see how we do. So I mean, like, if you never hear me mention it again, it went swimmingly well because it doesn't even occur to me that there's anything to talk about. which is how my life works. If it functions, it's just a background noise to me. Like, we don't talk about how most of us sleep with a pillow between our knees, but if you're a side sleeper, you almost always sleep with a pillow between your knees because it makes your hips feel better.
My mind has been expanded this day, and I might need to try this.
Yeah. So it's like, what's the worst case scenario? I dropped what? $12 on fabric?
Yeah.
And supplies all told? That's nothing. I'm willing to spend hundreds of dollars on an e-spinner I've never used before. I'm sure $12 is fine.
Yeah.
That's less than a bag of coffee beans. And we'll commit to that pretty quick. So that's it. That was what I was sewing. I was just like, I really just, guys, it looks like a pad. It's just a fabric pad is what it is with snaps. And I have no cool colors or anything to show you guys. So like, there's no fun patterning. So I suppose that brings us to a wool gathering.
It does. Which the only thing in this section, as always, is our next Patreon hangout is on June the 20th at noon Manitoba time, which at the moment is Central Daylight Time. So -5 is that time zone. And so that's just a Google Hangout where we get together with everyone that supports us on Patreon. And a little blurb about Patreon is a website you can sign up to give us monthly donations of a financial nature if you want to and are able to support us in that way. And if you're not, that is totally fine. You can share, like, and subscribe and comment and do all the things to make the algorithm like us more, and that is also very helpful.
All helpful. Following us and chatting with us on Instagram at Northern Knits Podcast, all of it helps. All of it helps us reach out and help build a community. We have an amazing moderator, Asa. She is on Facebook and she is on the Ravelry. Yeah. We cannot thank her enough for the help that she puts in, because we're but two humans. I think that just leaves us with books.
Yes, it does.
I finished a readathon.
Which one was this?
The Medievalathon.
Oh, that one wrapped up. Okay.
Yeah, well, it wraps up today because it runs to the end of the month. But I've got my 7 books in, so I am an emperor.
Did you ever get clothes?
Nope.
Perfect.
And in case you don't understand why that's a joke, because there's the story of the emperor and his new clothes, and his new clothes are nothing. I am a naked emperor, just like in the story. I could have chosen clothes because a couple of my last book prompts would have fit, but I didn't. I just claimed them as the books and not as additional prompts. So you could be an emperor or an empress with 7 books. I finished 7 books, so I am an emperor with my new clothes. I do, however, have a shield, a bow and arrow, a sword, and a cat.
You're decked out.
And they will be artfully placed for my portrait for the Great Hall because nobody needs to see that. And how that works. So it was good. Mr. B was happily following along, gifting me a magic card for every level I reached.
Okay.
So I have a magic card for every level I accomplished of arbitrary book reading goals this month. So 1 for peasant, 1 for sage, 1 for knight, 1 for noble, 1 for prince, 1 for king, 1 for emperor. He did good. That was fun. I'm gonna try to again get through like another 7 books if I can this month, because I'm just enjoying that I'm on a reading spree and I don't want it to slow down. So I'm gonna try to keep reading as much as I can. And to that effect, because I got the Emperor title, that means I did finish more books. I think I was reading How to Date Your Dragon last week, or had I finished?
I think so.
I neither finished it or was just about to finish it.
Well, I wrote it down, so either way.
So that one got done, which was the first of the Mystic Bayou series by Molly Harper. It is a romantic series. I then proceeded to, because I enjoyed it so much, make the last book of my readathon book number 2 in the series, which was Love and Other Wild Things, which
Yes.
deals with another of the primary characters. So the first book dealt with the archaeologist and the sheriff of the town. The second book deals with the mayor of the town, who happens to be a bear shapeshifter, and then he finds his love. On the third of the trilogy is the archaeologist's best friend and the doctor who just came home to a small town to help out. And that one's called Selkies Are a Girl's Best Friend, so guess what he is?
This does sound rather adorable or fun. I don't know. It sounds good.
It is paranormal romance, but what I do like about Molly Harper and how she writes is that she nailed small towns, and you really have to have been from a small town to fully grasp it. That the if you're an outsider, you're an outsider, and if you're an insider, it's because you were born here. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Diana's from a small town. Diana's from a small town.
Wasn't born in the small town. My parents have now lived in that small town for like 25 years, and so we're just getting past the outsider stage. 25 years in.
So like, I did some years as in a small town, like in a small town. It may have been the capital city of Nunavut, you guys, but it didn't even have a movie theater. Like a small one-paved road, small town.
That is very small.
Very small town.
That is smaller than my small town.
So like, you hear these descriptions of characters in the story that they're side characters. They're sort of round out the world characters. And they're very full and complete because your brain goes, oh yeah. All small towns have that family. They're troublemakers, but they're not gonna be like serious troublemakers. There's just some things you gotta watch out for. It's just the Gator Boys are peeping Toms. That's just what they are. They're just considered a sort of small town nuisance. You just don't change in front of your windows if you're a girl. And she just sort of nails those markers when she's describing it, and she's just got cute little puns. And then a lot of paranormal romance sort of suffers from that alpha male syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm the guy and the girl will be the damsel in distress and go, and that's fine. That's what you like in a romance novel. I enjoy the occasional I am man, hear me roar romance novel. It is up my alley. These ones aren't that. So you have this sort of side plot where you get the drama and the pull and the will they, won't they sort of idea. But that's never the main focus. The main focus is always she's able to stand on her own, or she's willing to go, it's great and I love you too, but I'm not giving up my career to play homemaker. Like, this is not how this is going to work. There will be compromise. And they're not so alpha orientated that they go, well, no, but I want it my way. They go, no, we don't have the right to ask you to change who you are or what your passions are to be with us. That's not fair to you. So it's a very great contemporary romance where the boys still get to be boys, they're just not assholes. And the girls aren't fall over, oh my god, the boy saved my life. I must bake him cookies forever. Like, that's not how these ones work. So I find them very realistic and very relatable for that reason. Because you get the moments where the girls are like, no, you're being a jerk, go away.
I appreciate that.
And he has to come back with apology in hand and go, no, I was a jerk. I'm sorry.
Well, good.
Part of my nature, and I apologize. I'm going to try to make sure I don't do that, or if at the very least I do that, yell at me, kick me out of bed, tell me to go, F myself. Like, put me in my place, because it is not appropriate for me to have done these things. So it's nice, and you get that. And again, you've got the female narrator reading the female half, and you got the male narrator reading the male half. So you get those. It's very easy to tell the dichotomy between the two thinking patterns, which I enjoy. So it's all around, it's just nice. A nice, light, heartwarming romance. I'm like, it's exactly what I needed, especially right now in hiding from the news, because it's very depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I still have no idea what a Creole Cajun accent is because I don't think anybody does unless they've actually heard a person of the area speak it, but that's okay. They try their best. That's totally fine. And now I'm on the third story, which is archaeologist's best friend has moved to town to do her thing. And I mean, obviously she's going to pair up with the doctor, but whatever, that's fine. I'm okay knowing at the beginning. Doesn't bother me. So
I also finished my romance novel, which is not nearly as good as this entire series that you're waxing poetic about.
I pick good books.
Yeah, no, this one was fine. They got together. There was lots of adult sexy fun times.
Were those written well?
Yes, those were written well. Now, the disappointing part was there was the psycho ex-husband that came in halfway through the book, and he was like being an actual like really good antagonist and like making their lives hell, and it was like, yes, there's actual drama going on, and oh no, he's dead now and everybody's happily ever after the end. What? No, that was just unfulfilling, anticlimactic. I mean, there was explosions and cars driving off of cliffs, but like he died too soon. Yeah, that's all I got to say about mine. It was called Filthy Rich. I don't know. But right before we started recording, my phone dinged to let me know that a hold I placed on a library audiobook like 6 months ago was finally up. So I will be starting to listen to Girl, Wash Your Face. I don't remember why I wanted to read this or what it's about or even the author's name because I didn't write it down, but it was a thing that I wanted to read 6 months ago, so I'm going to read it.
Oh, my word. I'm going to fall down an Audible Escapes hole and see what else there is because I want to save my Audible credit for the month so that I can get one of the books comes out this month, and I forget which one it was.
No, I can't help you. I'm sure there's a lot of books coming out.
It's a continuation of a series, and I was really mad because book 1 and 2 were out, and I read those. Oh! It's the third in the City of Brass series. So City of Brass is out. Copper King is out, but the third one is released on Audible this coming month. So I'm going to use my Audible credit to get that. So be prepared for more romance because my mom kindly pays for Audible Escapes for me, so I can listen to a ton. You can do romance and literature and mystery and like horror. Like they've got a bunch of stuff in the Audible Escapes. So I just kind of go in there and find new authors to listen to because new authors. So that's sort of where I'll be spending my time until my credit rolls in and that book comes out because I want to finish that trilogy.
Yeah, you were super into that.
It's a really well-written trilogy, so I'm very excited by that. So I'm going to do that, and then I've got a bit of time to round out some other stuff if I can, like get the second book in the Tiger Daughter series read, because November and December it's going to be all about the Expanse and the Wayfarer Kings. That's the Stormlight Archives is the overarching name for the Way of Kings books by Brandon Sanderson, and the next one, the Stormlight Archive, comes out in December, but so does book 9 of the Expanse. So I already know what I'm doing in December.
Got the whole thing planned out.
Well, do you think I'd put those off? No. Those have got to happen. So I already, but I've got from now till December to get a bunch of fun reading in. So I'm gonna do that and see if I can get a few more of those read harder challenges, which if you see me look off to the left is because they're pinned to the screen that's behind me, just on the left here. There's a big long list.
I gotta make that list or print it off or something. I gotta look at that list again. I wanted to do some of those.
It helps you sort of step outside your comfort zone, which I really enjoy doing because it just expands my reading horizons, which is always very good. So otherwise, left to my own devices, it would be fun shapeshifters from Atlantis and sexy over-the-top alpha males with books about the Roman Catholic Church. My reading habit.
I just love the oppositeness of that. Like the high drama, high emotion, and then like history.
Super dull history about people that we know like 15 things about that people turn into entire novels. That's what I read.
Not my cup of tea, but you know, whatever you like.
That's how that works. All right. Well, in which case, I think that wraps us up for the week. Woo.
I believe it does.
Welcome to June, guys.
Woo, happy June.
Happy June. Woohoo. I'll say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget
to knit.
I didn't even say what episode title number it was at the start. I can't
think
remember.
So. I seem to recall, yes.
Oh boy.
You did that, and then I flubbed my cue.
Cool.